What is up, everybody? Matt Modi here with Jedi Modi Sports Network, here to talk to you about NBA player props for Wednesday, October 25th. We are entering the splash zone, which, if you missed the video for Tuesday's games, it's where I give out my favorite three-pointer props specifically for the NBA betting slate. What I'm doing is I am identifying specifically players that I like to hit a little bit of a juiced up number on their three-pointer attempts. The goal here of getting incredibly juicy odds. Now, I am open to feedback here, so if you would rather me just give out the main line plays and not juice up these props, let me know. I did get that in the comments. Now, I don't want to let one person influence my entire decision making, so I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments, whether you do like the juiced up props or whether you don't. My logic here, trying to capture the magic, and I mentioned this a couple times, so if you're sick of me saying it, I apologize, but capture the magic that I had with the home run plays specifically, where they were all mostly plus 300 odds and above, and all I needed was one to hit in order to be profitable. That's what I had in the MLB, which did really well. I just recently started doing that for the NFL, which has been doing really well. Again, it's a small sample size, but so far so good. So I'm going to be doing that with the NBA as well. But again, open to feedback. With that out of the way, I am recording this before Tuesday's games have finished, so I do not have any stats to give you. Just to peel back the curtain, player props are already out for Wednesday's slate, so I did want to just get that out early. So again, no plays or no recap to give you, but we can move on to Wednesday's slate. Would appreciate it if you are not already. If you could subscribe, following me along with this splash zone journey, and let's chat. So play number one, and I'm going to have three pumped up splash zone props for you guys today. The first one is in the Thunder versus Bulls game. We're taking SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, to record 2 plus 3-pointers. That is at plus 360 odds at FanDuel. So SGA, 2 plus 3-pointers. A little bit of a mouthful. Didn't want to butcher that. So SGA is very much not known as a volume shooter at all. He does shoot at a decent percentage, 34, 37, 38% in the past couple years. He's got a weird herky-jerky form, so it's not like a Steph, very consistent, very replicatable three-point form that he has. But he's a decent shooter when he does shoot. I'm all in on SGA having another massive year this year, just like he did last year. He was an all-pro last year, all-NBA. Really good year. I'm expecting him to have a similar year this year, if not a little bit better. The whole thing with this prop specifically is we need SGA to get those shots up. This is the biggest concern with this play, is that he did not shoot a lot last year, and he had the best year of his career. Overall, just looking specifically at three-pointer attempts per game, last year was the lowest number of attempts he averaged per game since he was a rookie, and that was 2.5 per game. He averaged 2.5 three-point attempts per game. The previous 2 years in Oklahoma City, he was essentially averaging 5 per game. That's a pretty decent drop. That's only half the attempts that have dropped. But I will say, looking at this right now, last year is definitely the outlier in terms of three-point attempts. Now, if you want to make the argument that he attempted the fewest amount per game and he had the best year of his career, so he might stick with that strategy, that's fair. That's definitely a possibility here. As of right now, that looks like the biggest outlier, so I'm going to treat it as such. If he can get to averaging 5 again, this is obviously going to look like a steal. We don't know that. All we can do is project, but last year, he only attempted 5 3-pointers 8 times per game. In those 8 games, he hit 2 5 times. And even if he doesn't get his numbers up to 5, if he can just get them to 4, I would feel great about this play. In the games that he attempted at least 4 3-pointers, he made 2. He did that 20 times, He attempted 4 3-pointers 20 times, and he made 2 plus 3-pointers in 11 of those 20 games. So I know I've shouted a lot of numbers at you. To confirm, last year, he attempted 5 3-pointers 8 times, made 2 3-pointers in 5 of those 8 games. If we drop that number just down by 1 attempt, he attempted 4 3-pointers in 20 games. He made 2 11 out of 20 times. So if he can get his shot attempts up, again, this is going to look like a steal. It's week 1. We got to call our shot. The opponent here, to give a little bit of credence to that, the Bulls, Not a good defense from 3-point range. Last year allowed the second most 3-pointers made per game at 13.2. With Chet Holmgren being in the rotation, they seem to have a pretty good two-man pick and roll game, him and SGA. So hopefully this is one of those situations where teams start off the year going under those picks, which leave SGA wide open from 3. We will have to see there. But for plus 360 odds, we just need him to make 2. I'll take my chances there. Next up, this is in the Wizards versus Pacers game. We're going with Benedict Mathurin, 2+ made 3-pointers. This is at plus 240 odds at FanDuel. So one strategy that I like for betting and for fantasy basketball is to target second-year players who are projected to take a massive leap. And I don't even mean leap in terms of performance, but also in terms of minutes played. I think Benedict Mathurin is a pretty good candidate for this. He had a good year last year overall as a rookie, but the shot definitely wasn't there. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that in one offseason he's going to turn into Steph Curry, but we've seen second-year guards who came in not as great shooters develop their jump shot into something respectable. Tyrese Maxey is the best example of this. His second year in the NBA became a pretty good three-point shooter. We'll have to see if Benedict Mathurin can do that. Not every player can take the leap that Maxey did, but it is possible. And I do think that Mathurin has the skill set to do that. Last year, he averaged 4 3-pointers per game, and he only shot 32%. That's obviously not good, but again, it's rare for a rookie to come in already as a negative shooter and immediately shoot lights out and become a plus shooter. In his last 30 games, which as rookies, it's the sample size here is a little bit smaller, but with rookies, hopefully they kind of make the positive trend at the end of the year. He made at least 1 3-pointer in 21 of those 30 games, so a 70% rate. And he made at least 2 3-pointers in 8 of those 30 games, which is like a 27% rate. So that's obviously not great, but I do like the fact that he kept shooting. Overall, last year, he attempted 4 3-pointers in 40 games, and he hit 2+ 3-pointers in 23 of those 40 games, so just above 50%. So this year, looking at projecting him forward, he's most likely going to start this year, and he's definitely going to improve upon his minutes played per game. He only played 28.5 minutes per game last year. So even if his performance is relatively stagnant, just from the minutes increase alone, he should shoot more than he did last year. And having 1 year of NBA experience in a year to off season, I should say, to improve his jump shot, I'm hoping that we can get him to shoot and make 2 3-pointers. It's plus 240 odds. Again, the value there is pretty good. All we need is one of these 3 plays to hit. That's my second one. Last up, the last and juiciest play of the evening in the Wizards versus Clippers game. Terrence Mann to record 3+ made 3-pointers, plus 550 odds at FanDuel. To begin the year, Terrence Mann is going to get every possible opportunity to show out for the Clippers. I'm very confident in that. If you're not in the know, because I'm a Sixers fan, I'm definitely in the know. The trade talks between the Clippers and the Sixers for James Harden, Terrence Mann is being treated like he is essentially Michael Jordan. Literally, the Clippers refuse to add him in the deal, and the Sixers refuse to do the deal with him not in it. Somehow he is the sticking point in a James Harden trade talk. He's a fine player. I'm not saying he's bad, but it's absurd that he's getting valued that way by both teams. But all that matters here is that because of that, the Clippers are going to showcase him. They're now making him their 5th starter. And because of that, or I'm guessing they made him the 5th starter because of these trade talks, not maybe 100%, but definitely part of it. And they're going to make every possible determination, every possible situation to prove themselves right by holding on to him. And also maybe to get the Sixers to back down on trade demands elsewhere. We'll see. Regardless, looking at Mann, the player, he's a pretty good shooter, with the concern here being he didn't shoot a ton last year. He shot last year 38.9% on threes. That's pretty good. He only attempted 2.4 per game. That's obviously not good. He didn't even attempt as many 3-pointers as we are taking him to make this year. But he only played in 23 minutes per game, which is part of the reason why I think it's ridiculous how these teams are treating him. But he obviously did not have a massive opportunity to shoot if you're only playing 23 minutes per game. That will not be the case, at least to begin the season. presumably he's going to be playing starter minutes, and they need someone to just catch and shoot, having a team with Russ, Kawhi, and Paul George. So if he can get to 30 minutes, things will start to be looking a little bit better for us. In games in which he played 30 minutes last year, that only happened 17 times. But in those 17 games, he hit at least 3 3-pointers in 7 of those 17 games. For plus 550 odds, that's pretty good value. He's probably going to play upwards of 30 minutes. If he does, he's probably going to just shoot more than he did, obviously. And he's probably going to have the ultimate green light, similar to the other players that we've talked about. So for our third and final play, Terrence Mann, 3+ made 3-pointers, plus 550 odds at FanDuel. I'm putting half a unit on all of these to start the year as we try to get our bearings straight. All we need is one of these plays to hit, and we are profitable. If we get all 3 to hit, we will be rich. So let's hope for that. Again, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already. Make sure to comment. Let me know your feedback. And regardless, let me know if you're tailing or fading or whatever you want to do. Also, like the video. All that stuff helps. Regardless, appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.